Hello, welcome to Ovine Zen. I'm Jan, and it's early like Sunday morning, and Ollie's asleep on the bed, so he's just going to listen. I hope you're having a good day, and this morning I want to, it's just kind of confusing what I want to talk about. I don't really know, and usually I know, and I don't know. I was taking a class. Now, I teach classes. I teach like 5 classes a week. And then I take a class as well. I take a Pilates class a couple times a week. And anyway, I was zenning out in one of these classes. And this image came to my mind just when I'm just sitting there. And it was the image, it's going to sound weird, it was the image of Anne Frank. Like, I don't know where that came from. I hadn't been reading about her or thinking about her. It just, there she was in my mind's eye. And I contribute this a lot to meditation because when you practice creating space in your mind where you're just open, things come to you. Sometimes ideas, sometimes people, sometimes just weird things, that weird words that you don't use. And I love that. I think that's so interesting with the mind when you let go, when you open some room. So anyway, I started to look into Anne Frank just a little bit because, it's been years and years since I've read her story or know about it. And it brought to mind this whole nother subject of this little girl, you know, hiding with one other family up above her father's business. And they were in hiding for over 2 years. 2 years. And they had to keep very still and very quiet. And that's what kind of opened up her doors to writing. And she wrote her diary. She wrote about her hopes for the future. She wrote about her introspection about herself, what kind of person she was and what she hoped to become. And through that stillness, through that quietness, she created a space in her mind, a space where she could look, where she could use her imagination and her curiosity. So even though she didn't have space, physical space, they had very little space for 2 families. She created space in her mind. And that is something that gave her room. And meditation is what that does for you. So it's not necessarily the time you sit on your cushion and meditate. It's the time and space it gives you off your cushion. It can happen anywhere during your day, during your night, that the space opens up and your whole life opens up. What you can do when you're not sitting in fear. Oh, I can't do that. It might not work. I can't do that because what will happen if? That place, that opens up and it gives you space to imagine and think and do something different than your regular habitual thinking patterns. That's what meditation gives to you. And so this young girl who only lived to 15 years old, 15, but in those 2 years plus 1 month, I think it was, she created this place that was livable, and she saw possibilities. And even though they don't call it meditation for her, that's what she was doing. She saw the pages, the empty pages in front of her, and she filled them up with imaginings and curiosity and hope. There was always hope there for her. And so that's what I wanted to share with you. It's about the spirit, and it's about touching parts of yourself that don't sit in fear. She didn't sit there day in, day out in fear. She sat there in wonder. She sat there in possibilities, and she never gave up on her belief in people and her belief in herself. And she remained free. Even though she was confined, she was free. And we can be that way too. So meditation is a doorway. And someday I want to talk to you about the difference between Zen and Buddhism, and what that is and what it means. There's so much. And one thing I want to say, I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not anything. I love their philosophy in life. And I love the Stoic philosophy, Stoicism. I love that philosophy, and I try to live my life in pieces of all of that. And so I wouldn't label myself as anything, but I surely am curious about our mind and how it can constrict us and confine us, but it doesn't have to. It's our mind, it's nobody else's. So we can do with it what we practice to do. So let's sit in meditation and just imagine that young girl in that confined space, but she opened the walls. She gave herself room to live in her short life. Okay, so get comfortable. Yeah, and it's so early, and I'm thinking these thoughts, and it's like, how strange, but how cool. Yeah, how cool. Okay, you might not think so, but I do. All right, so roll your shoulders back. Let's just open up some room in our mind. Drop your head, lower your chin, lay down, do whatever position feels natural for you. Soften your belly. Allow your legs to become heavy and supported by whatever it is underneath them. Maybe your feet are on the floor. Maybe you just feel your heels touching something, whatever you feel. And then feel your breath. Just breathe in and breathe out. You can close your eyes or you can just lower your gaze, whatever feels good for you. Take a deep breath in. Breathe slowly in and out. Feel your body. Feel its weight. Feel whatever it is beneath you. Feel the air in your lungs and accept it, the sensation. Soften your jaw. Relax your tongue. Breathing in and breathing out. Your cheeks are soft. Your brows are relaxed. Your forehead is smooth of lines of worry or anxiousness. We just allow our thoughts and feelings to come and go. Observe your breath. Let the space inside of you hold all of that. just as passing visitors. A feeling, a thought comes and goes. And we offer gratitude today for the space to be, to feel, to reflect, to hope. Still the breath, still the hope. The hope is as wide as the sky. That we are free. We are free to make choices, to think as how we want to think, to imagine, to fill our mind with curiosity. The room may be small, perhaps a narrow slice of a window, but inside we walk softly inside our heart. Our world keeps growing. Breathing in and breathing out. Anne Frank tended her hope, watering them with questions of who am I? Who might I become? Is there still goodness in people? And although her body stayed in one place in stillness and quietness, her spirit refused that confinement. She pressed all of her thoughts like flowers between the pages of a diary. She wrote them down on paper and hoped that they could outlast her being. She wrote her fears down gently so that they would lose their sharpness. She wrote her dreams down boldly so they would feel like promises. So the world outside her door shrank to danger and darkness, yet her inner world expanded into something luminous. So even in that narrow room, she discovered something infinite. She discovered that a mind willing to hope cannot be imprisoned, that a heart willing to love cannot be silenced, and that a single young girl listening to her own spirit could become something larger than her circumstances. And this is our teaching for today, that we can do, we have the freedom, so much freedom, more freedom physically than Anne Frank had, that we can make changes We can try new things. We can step out of those boundaries of our mind, that fear. Breathing in and breathing out. So we have choices to make. And we may feel fear in those choices, but we must make those choices. We must see what's on the other side because we're curious and we're hopeful. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's not waste this precious life in fear. You know what needs to be done. Breathing in and breathing out. And now, as we close our meditation for today, and we slowly begin to come back to where we began, in this space together. We feel the air upon our skin. We feel our breath. We move our fingers and our toes. We slowly return. We may reopen our eyes. I remember a great lady, doesn't matter her name, and I went to her for help. And it was a difficult time. And I went to her for help. I really went to her for answers. And she would give me no answers. And at first I was upset. And she would say to me, I don't know the answer. You know the answer. And I'd say, no, I don't. Please tell me. Help me. She said, no, you know the answer. And she just kept saying that. And I reflect back on that now, and you're right. She was right. She was right. Nobody else knew the answer. I'd search everybody, ask everybody, come on, tell me. No. I mean, a lot of people would tell me, but they didn't know the answer. So, anyway, thank you for listening to me and about Anne Frank. What a story. What a story. It humbled me. It made me just, for days, still today, and it was last week, and I walk down the street and I take Ollie for a walk and I think, God, I'm free. I have, and so are you. We can go, we can walk, we can do. We have so much freedom. So I know it's just humbling. So anyway, before I get off on a tangent, I'll close. And Ollie is just, he looks like he's going to get a bath today, another one. So anyway, okay. So open your mind, create a little space with your meditation, and then during your day, your mind will open just suddenly, and you'll notice something that you would never have noticed before. It's just remarkable. So, okay, take care. I will see you very soon.